Neal, after a difficult run, what's been the focus this week?
First and foremost, got to recover from it. And then, we come in today, you have to try and regroup. And, I personally do a lot of soul searching, sitting in a flat on my own. Wind and rain yesterday, couldn't even go out for a walk. And, you reflect, you watch the game back, you look at not just that game on Tuesday night, you look at the last, several games, you analyse your stats, your data, and like I have done, and I think we all know where we've got to be better, what we've got to be better at. I'm not blind to that, and I have to take full responsibility. The team are a reflection of what I try and make them, and I've got to get the boys, protect them, and get them feeling good about themselves, and regroup and make sure that it is just a blip that's 2 losses in 12 games and we get a run going again.
You feel the head's going down a little bit in the dressing room and training and off the pitch, or has it been very much something that everyone's still very positively focused?
I think it's a natural thing, if we go on a 4-game winning run, even somebody like myself, although I always take the opposition seriously and respect them, you feel like the team's in a great place and you feel like you're going to step on that pitch and win a game, and you feel like you're going to score goals, and you just feel it's coming. Even if you concede a goal, you feel like you've got it in the locker. And on the flip side, when you go through a run when not only are the results not what we want them to be, but the performances aren't. There's games where we lose or we draw, and I go, well, on 90% of the games we win that. 90% of the time you play a game, and you're not bothered about a loss as much, but you kind of know that you're on the right track. And lately we haven't been, and you do get down about that, and it does make your shoulders shrink a little bit as players, and even as a manager, I have to get that out of my system before I turn up on a Thursday morning at 8 o'clock ready to go. So I think it's natural, and like I've alluded to before, I know I've used Liverpool a lot, but we have seen a team that were kind of invincible become something very different, and they haven't become bad players overnight.
If you look at the recent form guide, it's like 2 different sides, home and away, recently. Can you put your finger on why that might be?
No. There's an expectation for us at home from ourselves. We haven't got fans here to put that on us, but from ourselves and the opposition. I do think the opposition have set up to try and stop us being good at what we're good at, and they've done it well, and we haven't reacted to that, and because of that we've lost confidence and we've got worse. So no, I don't think it should be that way, and certainly, we've got more away games to play than we have at home, certainly in the league. So regardless, we need to make sure we do enough things right that home or away against this team or that team, we're going to be decent and in with a chance of winning every game.
We're seeing some unusual results at the moment across the whole league. I remember you speaking a few months ago. I think we'd all come to the conclusion that Torquay might run away with the division. They're now in 3rd as we're speaking. Given your experience in other leagues, just how unpredictable is this one?
I think anyone can beat anyone. I think at the moment probably the only 2 teams, maybe 3, that are really in a good place are probably Sutton, Hartlepool are winning regularly and consistently, and maybe Wrexham have picked up to that point. And obviously Chesterfield have been on a good run. So there's only a few that have managed to stick a run of form together over a sustained period. Everybody else has been a bit up and down. We had 4 wins on the trot earlier in the campaign, and then we haven't won in 4. So we need to correct that and get our points per game value up. But yeah, I think most teams can beat most teams on their day, and at this level sometimes you don't know when your day is.
You alluded to Liverpool a couple of times. Sides can go on those bad runs. We know that the form can fall apart pretty quickly as well. How difficult is it to get the momentum back as quickly? Can it happen as quickly?
I think, like I said before, we can do all the talking we want this morning. We can do all the training we want. We can do everything, but it's what happens at 3 o'clock on a Saturday or 7:45 on a Tuesday that makes all the difference. If you nick a 1-0 win. I remember last year we went on an unbelievable run, and it started in the cup against Chesterfield, and we didn't play very well, and we won 1-0. Probably our only shot on goal. We won 1-0, and it just spiralled us into an incredible run. And so it can, but I do believe that you have to keep putting in high-level performances to win at this level. And as we know over the last few weeks, we haven't.
I know social media is not your thing, Neal. It never has been. We receive all the comments from not supporters after the game, who've listened on the radio, and as you can expect, there's been a bit of a flat atmosphere recently. With thousands of supporters inside the ground, they can let you know their feelings at all times. Is there a different kind of pressure when you're on this slippery run and the fans can't be there?
I don't know about different type of pressure. I totally understand fans' frustration. I totally understand. I haven't enjoyed watching us play in the last 3, 4, 5 games. I really haven't. I don't think we've done enough in the games. I don't think we've created enough chances, and that's not for the want of working hard on the training field. But I don't think we've looked enough of a threat going forward. And we've looked like we've got enough goals in us, and the record tells us that. I'd be disappointed if I was a fan. I'm not of a fan mentality because I've been involved in football too long. But I'm sure the emotions of a fan go up and down to the point where they will, want to voice their opinion on social media. I get that. I don't hide away from that. As manager, you have to. That's part and parcel of it. And I'll protect my players all the time. My job's to turn this around, and I hope that I can turn it around quickly so that fans kind of forget about this little blip and are talking about whether we can achieve what we want to.
Finally, from me, the constant nature of Saturday, Tuesday, is that a help or a hindrance when trying to regain some of the spark that's been lost in recent weeks?
I would say you don't really want to be going through a bad run of form during that because the games come so thick and fast. But in the flip side, it's horrible on the back of a loss when you've got Saturday to Saturday. It really is. It's a long week, and to be able to try and put it right 3 days later is important. And so I'll say that it's probably more of a benefit to us that we can get back to it very quickly.
Appreciate your time, Neal. All the best ones. Neal,
going back to last season, you went through a similar spell, didn't you? You got beat at home by Barrow 3-0. Then I think you lost at Aldershot, and I think you went 5 games without a win. And then, of course, like you say, you went to Chesterfield, winning the cup, and that sparked that tremendous run. How much experience and how much confidence does that give you, knowing that you've been in this position before?
As a manager, you have to develop a little bit of thick skin to what goes on, and results. Obviously, I'm judged on results. I judge myself on performances if the team aren't performing, and it was only a few months ago you were talking about Ardley ball and how well the team pass it, and the goal at Solihull and the goal at Stockport, and how great they were team goals, and all of a sudden now we can't seem to string 3 passes together and look a poor side. So that's my job to sort that out. And I've always said all the way through, 44 games is when we should be judged. And I'm like when I didn't keep us up in my first year, I take full responsibility for that, and I'll take full responsibility at the end of the season. And I just hope that we can turn it around and put some positivity back in the fans, and we're still in the semi-final of a cup, and we're still there fighting for promotion, and that's the important part, and we've got half a season to go.
And what have the players said to you this morning? Have you had a chat with them, and if so, what have they had to say?
No, they're good. They had their own meeting, which I sort of alluded to them after the game, if they want to get together and have a chat, and they did. They had a good hour this morning, just them, so which was good, and they aired a few things. I've had my own meeting, with myself yesterday in my flat.
On your own?
On my own, just me and myself, and me and my head going round spinning. And like I say, I've said earlier, I get disappointment from the fans. It hurts so much as a manager. I don't just brush it off and get over it quickly. I'm living away from the family. I haven't got them around me. It's a wet and miserable day. I couldn't even go for a walk yesterday, and I'm sitting there with my own thoughts, and it hurts. And you can't wait to get back to work to try and get that nice feeling back. But it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take togetherness, and all I try and work on within this group is togetherness from the staff down. We're in it together. No blame culture. I take full responsibility, and I will do everything I can to get the best out of this group of players and get them firing again.
Can you put your finger on at why, after the performance against Dagenham, when I think absolutely all of us agreed it was probably one of the best performances we've seen from a Notts team, certainly the best performance from a Notts team I've seen in my 7 years covering the club, and given the circumstances, can you put your finger on what's happened since then? Because everyone presumed that was going to be the catalyst. I think we were talking after the game, weren't we, thinking, right, is this it now? Is that the touch paper lit?
Yeah, I can. Tactically I can, mentally I can, and the thing as a manager is you can have one game, the Chesterfield game where we didn't perform, we lost, and you go, okay, you don't throw the toys out of the pram after one game. Then if you have a second game, you don't start it well, but in a third game and then a fourth game, you start realising, right, there's a common theme here. And as a manager, everyone might say, oh, we have changed this, do this, but you can't do it just after one game. You can't just throw the toys out of the pram because it's a one-off. If it happens 2 or 3 or 4 times, which it has done, that's when you need to, as a manager, go, right, there's an underlying issue here and I need to, do something about it. And, that's football. It's, again, we talked about Liverpool, I know I keep alluding to them, it's football, isn't it? You look at Premier League teams, top teams, other than Man City, everyone struggles for consistency. And, you could say, well, Man United have spent the most money, they shouldn't struggle for consistency. But they do, and so on and so forth. So it's football, it's sport. That's what makes sport so magical. And that's why I always talk about not getting ahead of yourself when things are going well, not taking the highs too high, the lows too low, because all sport will kick you in the proverbials when you think things are going well.
I'm interested to get your thoughts on Carl Wootton, because it seems he's under a tremendous amount of pressure to lead the team's fight to score goals this season. Is that something that you would agree with, and do others need to step up to the plate and try and take some of that burden off him?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole team does. And again, it's not something that I'm burying my head in the sand about. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see our goals for column, to see that we're not creating enough, we're not scoring enough, and when we do, Carl Wootton's the man that's doing it. So, we lost Christian Dennis. We didn't want to lose Christian Dennis. He chips in with double figures. Wes Thomas, we lost these double figures. Cal Roberts, we've lost these double figures. These all players that we haven't had that all season more or less, that there's probably 30 goals there, there. So, there's no magic wand behind it. And, all right, we'd lost Deno in the summer, but Wes and Cal, we couldn't have predicted what was going to happen with them two. And, we all need to chip in. I need to try and help them to score goals. I need to try and, get us into the right areas more often, and we will work at it. We're humans. We make mistakes. We get things wrong. We're going through a sticky spell. Our confidence has been shot a little bit, and we've got to pick ourselves up, flex our muscles, and be brave and tough and battle our way through it. Whether it will happen Saturday, whether it will happen Tuesday, we've got enough games to do it and turn it on its head.
And you've got enough leaders in that dressing room as well to help with that, haven't you? You've got the likes of Connell, Doyley. How key are they going to be moving forwards?
All of them are. All of them are. We can't carry anyone, and your subs and your players not in the squad, they're as important as the players in it, because they can kill the atmosphere. They can not train properly. They can sulk, and I'm not saying that ours are doing that, but what I'm saying is we have to keep. Everybody has to be out. Everyone has to play their part. The whole atmosphere of the place, whether we can rotate during a difficult period. You remember when we hit a good run before lockdown last year, we were changing the team every week. And I was able to change the team every week because I could just see everyone was at it. Everyone was in a place. Whoever I put in the team was going to perform, and my job's to try and help them get there. Their job's to have the desire to be that, whether they're in the team or not, because we've got a big squad, we're going to need one. And we've all got to believe that regardless of the situation, which isn't terrible, we're in the playoffs, we've got games in hands, we're in the semi-final of the Cup, but we're losing a bit of sight on where we want to be, and we've got to recapture that.
And Lewis Knight, is he likely to be involved at the weekend? Has he trained this week?
He's trained. We've had discussions about him. We had the discussion with him personally again, and he's an honest lad. He's probably not ready to start. He feels that himself even. He's got to do the work. So it's a catch-22. You put him in and go, let's just have him on the bench, but then you lose that whole weekend if he only gets 15 minutes game time. Or you can work him really, really hard and increase his fitness and then give him the weekend or give him a day or so to recover, so that you get him that that bit fitter for the next time. So they're discussions we're having at the moment. But if he's not in the squad, it will be because we're trying to get his levels where they need to be first. And then it will be down to him to get in the squad.
Are there any other injury problems?
Not that I am aware of. Ben Turner's back on the grass, so hopefully he won't be too long, and that will stay that way. And like I say, we're going to need everybody. So hopefully over the coming weeks we'll get them all back.